a godly scheme to accumulate the two powers of words and actions. I hope my voice is audible.
Yes,
So,
yes, Baiji, thank you.
yeah, thanks. So, today's Murli is very interesting. Actually, this is a very long Murli, so I think they have split this in three parts. 3 days we'll be reading it across so that we can get enough time for reflection and application. And Baba often speaks about different powers, but this time he has specifically focused on the words and actions which we perform. So, especially today and tomorrow, we'll be reading the core Murli, and day after would be then Baba meeting other groups and the follow-up actions which he is mentioning. But today he will be mainly getting us introduced to these two powers, and then yes, the scheme and everything will follow tomorrow. So we'll just try to listen this in three parts and apply it as much as we can. So this is the Murli of 1988. As I remember, this year was also that year where Baba, after this year, Baba has curtailed his meeting with children to a few hours. Until 1988, he used to meet children very often. Uh, Whenever children used to call, Baba was there to meet. And a couple of Baba's turn in this year was that Baba coming in the evening 7 p.m. and leaving the next morning 4 a.m., 5 a.m., and one day even 7 a.m. So like 12 hours also Baba met children in this year. So Baba is also wanting to tell that Baba also has to now limit his words. It's not that because Baba wants to, but it is because the chariot has to be given limited stress because Baba is already giving extra vibrations for the chariot to work. So I think after this year, then Baba stopped meeting too long hours to children. And until this year, Baba used to also meet personally anybody who wanted to meet. But then afterwards, it was more like a group meeting. So this way also, this was a significant breakthrough in our yajna in 1988 year. So let's see what Baba has to say. I'll repeat the title: A Godly Scheme to Accumulate the Two Powers of Words and Actions. Today, the spiritual flame is seeing his spiritual moths. The moth from all directions have fallen in love. That is, they have sacrificed themselves to the flame. Hmm. We must be remembering that one song, Mehfil Mein Jal Uthi Shama. So Baba often gives the example of the flame and the moth. This is There are innumerable moths who sacrifice themselves, that is, who fall in love. However, after the sacrifice, that sacrifice in which souls become like the flame, because of their love for the flame is number wise. In fact, the sacrifice takes place because there is love in their hearts. There is a difference between deep love in the heart and just having love. Everyone has love, and it is because of love that there has been the sacrifice. The ones who have love in their hearts are the ones who understand the things in the Father's heart and his hopes, and who also fulfill them. The ones who have love in their hearts are the ones who fulfill the hopes and desires of the Father's heart. Let me just read these two statements again. The ones who have love in their hearts are the ones who understand the things in the Father's heart and his hopes, and the ones who also fulfill them. The ones who have love in their heart are the ones who fulfill the hopes and desires of the Father's heart. So, Baba is mentioning that the one who is having love, they also know what Father has hopes in his heart, and they are also able to fulfill them. Being loving with the heart means that whatever has been spoken from the heart of the Father is merged in the heart of the children. Whatever is merged in their hearts will automatically be in their actions. So, whatever Baba has in his heart, children will have that as well in their heart, which will automatically be seen in their actions. For those souls who have only love, some things are merged in their hearts and some things are merged in their heads. Whatever is merged in their hearts is put into action. Many thoughts arise out of whatever is merged in their heads, such as, can we do this or not? Or, it has to be done, it will happen at the right time. Because of many thoughts like this, it only stays the level of thought and isn't put into action. So Baba is again comparing the heart versus head. If the love is only through heart, then putting things into action is very quick and easy. But the other way, if we just have love from head, or even if it is partial love from head, Baba says that questions will arise that, am I able to do this or not, etc., etc. So today, Baba Dada saw that all of you are the ones who have sacrificed yourselves. If you hadn't sacrificed yourselves, you could not be called Brahmins. Out of love for the Father, you have to make a sacrifice of doing what the Father has said. That is, you have to renounce the consciousness of I, whether it is of arrogance or of weakness. Both have to be renounced. This is called a sacrifice. There are many who sacrifice themselves, but those who have courage to make this sacrifice are number wise. So again, Baba is highlighting the importance of sacrificing entirely to Baba. Mm. Father has said that you have to renounce the consciousness of I, whether it is arrogance or of weakness, both have to be renounced. Because I is also has the consciousness of weakness, whether I can do, whether I'm capable, I'm so small, etc., etc. And I, when used of arrogance, I think we all know. So, sacrificing physically is a different thing. Many can do that. But the real courage is to sacrifice this I, which Baba is mentioning. And so slowly Baba is coming to the point earlier when he says that all the moths have sacrificed themselves to the flame. It sounds easy because we all love Baba. But then slowly he's telling that the real sacrifice is of the consciousness of I. Baba further says, today, Bab Dada is seeing the result of just the 1 month. In this season, Bab Dada has specially given signals so many times in many different ways for you souls to become equal to the Father, that is Bab Saman. This is the special elevated desire in Bab Dada's heart. You have received so many treasures and so many blessings. You have come running here in order to claim blessings. The Father is also pleased that the children have been coming to meet him with such love and that they are pleased to receive blessings. However, who are the ones who are going to fulfill the hopes and desires of the Father's heart? To what extent have you put into practice the things that the Father has told you about? What is the result of all the three thoughts, words, and actions? To what extent are your minds powerful in relationships and connections? If you have simply sat and churned on all these, that is very good for self progress and it has to be done. Hmm. So let us take a couple of minutes and churn on these questions, whatever we have on the screen, so that we understand that where are we standing. I'll just repeat these questions and then you all can take a minute to reflect. No need to share now. I think let's spend some time reflecting, otherwise, we'll lose these questions. However, how are the ones who are the ones who are going to fulfill the hopes and desires of the Father's heart? To what extent have you put into practice the things that the Father has told you about? What is the result of three thoughts, words, and actions? To what extent are your minds powerful in relationships and connections? Baba says, if you have simply sat and churned all these things, that is very good for self progress and it has to be done. Excuse me. However, for you elevated souls whose mind are elevated, that is, whose thoughts are powerful, and who have good wishes and pure feelings, what is the mirror of the power of your minds? That mirror of these is your words and actions. Whether with Agyani souls or with Gyani souls, your words and actions in your relationships and connections will both with both types of souls are a mirror. If your words and actions are not filled with good wishes and pure feelings, how can the practical form of the power of your minds be understood? Let me repeat. If your words and actions are not filled with good wishes and pure feelings, how can the practical form of the power of your minds be understood? Those who have pure and powerful minds will automatically have powerful and pure words and actions. They will be filled with good wishes. A powerful mind means the power of their remembrance will be elevated and powerful, and they will be easy yogis. Not only will they be easy yogis, but they will be easy karma yogis. Bapdata saw that the majority of children pays attention to making remembrance powerful, and they have to they have the zeal and enthusiasm to make their remembrance easy and constant. They are moving forward in this, and they will continue to move forward. They have good love for the Father, and this is why they pay good attention to remembrance, because the basis of remembrance is love. All are very good when it comes to having a heart to heart conversation with the Father. However, sometimes they show a stem eye when they get upset with one another, and then they complain to the Father, "Why don't you put this right?" That eye is filled with love and affection. But when they come into the gathering, when they start to perform actions and interact with the family, then there is a lot of wastage of words in the gathering that is evident from the power of words. So, Baba is giving us a litmus paper test here, wherein what actually happens when we come into the gathering. Although the eye is filled with love and affection, but love and affection when we talk to Baba, probably even when we give vibrations to the souls, when we have a heart to heart conversation. But while we are in the gathering and when we interact with the family, that time Baba is mentioning that there is a lot of wastage of words because the power of words is wasted. There is a reduction in the power of special ingredient to make others experience the elevation of the Father. They like the things they hear. That is something else. For you, repeat the things that the Father has said, and so they would surely like those things. However, because the power of words is wasted, power is not accumulated. This is why there is still a delay in spreading the sound of the revelation of the Father. Interesting. See, Baba is mentioning that they like the things they hear. Hmm. Because we repeat whatever Baba has taught us. So, if we are repeating whatever Baba is teaching us, of course they will write that like that. But what is Baba further saying? However, because the power of words is wasted, power is not accumulated. This is interesting statement. Because the power of words is wasted, power is not accumulated. Now, how the power of words is wasted? Baba is clarifying that in further statements, there are too many ordinary words being spoken. Instead, let there be alokik words, words of angels. This year, underline this specially. You saw Father Brahma. His words were the words of an angel. Few words and sweet words. Words that are fruitful and accurate. Whereas words that don't are not fruitful are wasteful. Even if the words are for business activities and you do have to speak for activities, do not let there be too many words. You now have to accumulate power. Just as you accumulate power of the mind with remembrance, and when you sit in silence, you accumulate the power of thoughts. In the same way, accumulate the power of words. So we'll pause here. Let me just read this last paragraph again so that it helps us reflecting better. Baba is telling, because the power of words is wasted, there is a reduction in the power of special ingredient to make the others experience the revelation of the Father. They like the things they hear, that is something else. For you to repeat the things that Bapdada, that the Father has said. And so they are surely liking these words, these things. However, because the power of words is wasted, power is not accumulated. There are too many ordinary words being spoken. Instead, let there be alokik words, words of angels. This year, underline this specially. You saw Father Brahma. His words were the words of an angel. Few words and sweet words. Words that are fruitful and accurate. So, Baba telling few words, sweet words, words of an angel, fruitful words, and accurate words. Whereas words that don't are not fulfilled are wasteful. Even if the words are for business activities and you do speak for activities, do not let there be too many words. You now have to accumulate power, just as you accumulate power of the mind with remembrance, and when you sit in silence, you accumulate the power of thoughts in the same way, accumulate the power of words. So let's pause here and reflect on the Murli for a couple of minutes and then we'll start sharing. Okay, we can start sharing now.
Shanti. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Divine Family. Thank you, Kapil Bhai. Today, Baba said there is two things. There is only love, and second is a deep love. So that checking first of all, we are spiritual mode. So that sacrifice, all of us love as they have sacrificed. But the deep love, it's a sacrifice plus means you are fulfilling the hope of Father and revealing of Father. So that I understand about the insight. Om Shanti. And second important thing is the wastage of thoughts and word, whether you are accumulating or not accumulating. That's the important thing I got inside. So what are the wastage of thoughts? If you are not, it is not fruitful, they are waste. So that is the inside I got. Om Shanti. Thank you, Baba.
Yes, so Baba mentioned about the love as well. And he also tells that everyone has love, and it is because of this love that there has been the sacrifice. So, without love, of course, there cannot be sacrifice. So, Baba is acknowledging that fact as well.
Yeah, Om Shanti, just adding on to that. So Baba says this love in the heart and the love in the mind. So love in the heart, Baba says this, they automatically comes into action. They start putting things into action. But when it comes to love in the mind or head, like that, those things, creates only thoughts and doubts like, can I do, or, things like that. And therefore, things stay as just thoughts, but they don't come into action. So therefore, Baba says this, you know, uh, thoughts as thoughts, right? But not coming into action. So we need to have love in the heart, so that will help us to bring that into actions. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Actually, I was even wondering that is love from mind at all important? And I was thinking that love from mind will precede love from heart because we will understand Baba first by mind, like he's our father, and then of course that will be followed by heart. But if we just love by heart and if we don't have a knowledge, like whom are we loving, then that love can become a blind love as well. Just like we have faith, some people just have blind faith without understanding. So I was just reflecting whether I should still keep on loving from mind, or maybe love for mind is okay until we understand Father, and now we can just have that love by heart. Actually, by loving, we never think that way, whether I'm loving by heart or mind. It is more like a conceptual thing which Baba is mentioning here. But to me, I think both is important, at least at the beginning. But once we recognize Father completely and we understand that um, he will be like loving him is worth, or maybe I completely understand him, I think then loving by heart will really make more sense. Otherwise, it will just become like a bhakti.
Yeah,
Any other,
absolutely. Yeah.
have your thoughts
Yes,
you can share on this?
Shanti, Praful
Hmm.
महफिल में जलोटी शमा. As you said, that song and all, there are just two things in there: a devoted Parvana and the Shama. But if you see the first line of the Murli itself, the spiritual flame is coming to the mouth. Generally, it's moths which get attracted to the flame. But in the Murli itself, when Baba says the spiritual flame is coming to see the moths, means he has come to check something. He has come to see who are my real Shama. He has come to see really, are they my loving? Are they close to me? Are they see only me? See, for a moth to go and get sacrificed in the flame, first of all, it should have love to the flame. Then you were talking about love of the mind and love of the heart. Both are needed. Unless I understand through the mind, can that emotion come through the heart? One is a knowledge and understanding why I should love this person. That's the mind. But when that it is goes into emotion, it's heart. Definitely both are needed for completion, for a complete moth. So am I a complete moth? Have I really surrendered? So this is why this flame has come down to see the moth. So I have to first see this thing, because here it is, the flame is coming to check. Or am I just a one who circled around? There are moths who have no courage, who fear the flame, who fear they will lose their identity and all. They just circle, and then they get tired and they go out, of course, only to return later. I think this is a lovely thing. First, we have to understand the concept of the flame and the moth. And why has Baba given that? He has gone further down to explain about, as you said, he is still to give us a scheme about how am I to bring about a relationship between what I speak and what are my actions. Om Shanti.
Yes. So ultimately, Father is like he is telling us to the one who gets themselves sacrificed. So as you mentioned, the identity also get lost once the moth is on the flame, and the others like which just go circle and circle. Probably they are still in the discovery stage. Okay, this is flame. Should I really go there? And since there are so many belief systems out there, not necessarily everybody will hang on to the belief system what Baba has for us. Maybe they might not even will feel that Shiva Baba is the ultimate truth. So for them, and even after becoming his child, there will be many going round and round, and that is where still the discovery phase is going on. But then I think yes, both is needed from mind and from heart, because if we don't apply mind sometimes and we realize it later that oh, this thing has happened, and it will be very difficult for us to again someone else coming to us showing us some other wonder, we might easily get inclined towards them. But if we have gone to anyone with a proper understanding, then getting sacrificed over there will have a real meaning. In other words, what I want to say is that just for the sake of sacrificing, we should not get sacrificed. We should have a proper understanding. Whom are we giving our life to, and whether it is worth giving? And after that understanding, if we do the sacrifice, which Baba is mentioning here, then there won't be turn back, or we will enjoy that part rather than again coming on and coming off. Because coming in and coming off, how many days we would do, right? It will make no sense. So that initial period of understanding him and then getting sacrificed, I think that thing each has its own journey. Some takes months, some takes years, but then once we have that understanding, I think it should be very easy to completely get surrendered to Father.
Prabhai, you see one sentence which you also asked us to read again and again. This love in the heart is what Baba said. You've got love in the head, that's why you've become Brahmins. That part is they're becoming Brahmins. But it's only those who have love in the hearts who will understand what is in the Father's heart and will understand what is the Father's hope. See, when you have love in your heart, no, you have a thing of really emoting, of doing something for that person whom you have identified as the one whom you love, for whom you want to sacrifice. So that's why Baba says here, even though mind is needed, it's love in the heart which really makes you understand what is the things in the Father's heart and what are his hopes. And not only understand what is it, also you will be the one that knowing that whatever is spoken from the heart of the Father, it's merged in you. So you understand the heart of the Father. So even though, of course, mind is needed for you to become a Brahmin, but merged in the hearts is what is needed. And you are telling us, how do we know whether we are fulfilling Baba's hopes and desires? That's really a question, like we have to check with every day's Murli. Whenever Baba in the Murli asks us a question, I asked you to do this. Did you do? So that way, one checking point I do. Like the other day, he asked, "Your child of the master bestower. Do you bestow good wishes and pure feelings to others?" So the list goes endless. But I just want to emphasize one point here. It's love from the heart, which is what makes you understand the Father's heart, the Father's hopes, and you also want to fulfill it. So, dil ka jo pyar hai, that's the real Parvani.
So another question would arise that what will one have to do to have love from heart?
Merge him in your heart. Merge the Father in your heart. Don't allow anyone else there. Only He. If that one thing if you're going to bring anyone else in your heart, there won't be understanding the Father, because he is absolutely, I don't know what's that word they taught us in the Gyan, that for that oneness, I'm not getting that vocabulary. Merge him such that our kuch bhi nahi, kuch nahi hai duniya mein. So that kind of total love, when you in that, then God says, "Are, ye to sache dil wale hain. Let me give them some more love. This heart really loves me. This heart will fulfill what I want." So I think maybe that is one of the point.
And just adding on, the mind will help us to understand, right? So understanding comes from when we read the Murli. So that's where we'll understand Baba. And the more we understand, for understanding, of course, mind and intellect is required. And then the heart is following, right? So that's where the experience and that action coming. So here, when there is love only, then the remembrance and the experience, and also the practice, right? That is actually making us to follow that direction of the heart, right? So otherwise, I think it's just the understanding. Okay, this is what is the truth. So from mind to heart, I think it's a journey. So initially, we understand it's through the mind, and then the more and more we understand, and then the love follows. And of course, when the love follows, remembrance also follows. And then remembrance follows, experience will also be there. Yeah. Thank you.
By knowledge is light. That is the mind. Love is blind. Once you get love, Once your mind has already got that picture of that so and so, that is the flame, that and all. Love is, they say, blind. You just move, you just go, you just don't care, you don't want to listen to anyone. That is love, they say. Agar ek bar pyar ho jata hai, once you have fixed it in your mind, love is blind, love just runs. That's why this whole thing is only on God's love. The whole Raj Yoga is nothing but love of God for the children. So I feel that mind is just an identity. एक बार पकड़ लिया है तो love is blind. It just goes not knowing, Arey, it's a flame, you're going to die there. You're going to get burnt. No problem, I'll get burnt. I think that's why I feel love from the heart, which is whatever you call it as blind love, is what is needed to understand the heart of the flame.
Yeah, very right. So, so like this is like a double-edged sword. So one place we say that knowledge, yes, knowledge is important, but if we just keep on getting knowledge, there will be no end. Like for example, people have spent years and years of tapasya, or maybe done some chanting of mantras or researching on the scriptures. Even in BKs, I see many who are reading so many murlis, which is good. But then again, when it comes down to love, I think a simple Mera Baba. Sometimes I really admire um, the matas who are not educated. They might not even be reading the daily murlis which we do, but sheer love for Baba and just calling him for anything they are doing. That itself put them such lighter that in spite of thinking and applying so much of mind, some intellectuals are not able to get there. But having said this, some can then argue that okay, that person has not really understood knowledge that deep. It is just that person is having love. So maybe for that person, that could be an incomplete thing, or that can be just one aspect. But for the person who has completely surrendered mind and intellect and who is loving Baba from heart, they might not even have to look after any other things. So it is just the perspective which with which people think see that, and actually what works for one person will be different for something else. For one person just getting to know about Baba, they just get immersed in them. For example, like Brahma Baba, he might not even have to hear all these Avyakt Murlis, just based on Sakar Murlis and of course his Sakshatkars and all whatever he had, that made him number one. And someone like who have been reading Murli twice, thrice, but still are not able to get over there, that stage. So that is again how much we have tried to apply that from heart. That can be one of the parameters which, that is why probably Baba is asking us to check how much are we really loving him.
Ripple Bhai, Baba used to mention in the Murlis about these Buddhimas. He said he's floored by their dedication. I don't know. I used to read some of these matas in centers. They just come, sit there, and take a coin used to be heard in the bandar. They used to put 1 rupee coin, look and go away. It was a mention in the Murli also, that love which Baba had. They don't know
Mm,
any classes or kuch Murli ne padhte hain. See, I'm not saying you're very right कि ऐसा ही बनना है. No. Murlis you have to read. Correct. Why? To understand his words. वो क्या कहना चाहता है बाबा? To understand the words, that mind is needed so that we can follow it. I think this is how we have to take mind and heart.
yeah. So it's very interesting, and each Baba's soul, the Murli is so simple sometimes that sometimes Baba even says, Mera Baba kaho and finish. That is a summary of entire knowledge. And for some, even if you do PhD, Murlis fall short probably. So it's interesting churning, and when we see these two edges, it's and every soul has their own equilibrium. Like for some people, just reading one Sakara Murli is enough. Some might read just like us. We have thirst for a little more, reading Avik Murli. Some people will keep on listening so many classes throughout the day. So each has their own equilibrium. So of course, each soul has a different experience. But it's interesting to see, like where we at the end come to that stage where just Baba, nothing else. I think that is where everybody wants to reach, and eventually we get rid of all the clutters, even the locking things, and even the clutters of the gyan probably. Once we stabilize in that oneness, combined sthiti, jo Baba sometimes tell, I think that will bring us very close to the perfection or the ultimate things which we are trying to gain. And that is another reason probably why Baba must be telling to have economy on words and actions. So there is more to this. Actually, second part is more interesting than the first. So let's continue the discussion tomorrow. Today we'll just ponder upon this love by heart. I think this is good thing which Baba touched upon again today. And then yeah, we'll again meet tomorrow. Let's pause for a minute and reflect before we close today's day. Okay, Om Shanti. Thank you everyone. Have a great day.